The Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED just may be the ultimate gaming laptop for creators, because this laptop can be used for both without very much compromise at all. But at the heart of it, it's a gaming laptop. So in this video, we're going to find out its thermal performance, how it games, its gaming capacity, have some benchmarks at the end, and then we'll do a little bit of live gameplays so you can really see how it performs live with thermals. Now, if you guys are new around here, come on, sub up, join the woo train, hit that bell ding-a-ling-a-dong so you don't miss any of my future videos. It'll be appreciated there. Now, the last Gigabyte Aero 15 I think was probably the best thin and light premium 15-inch gaming laptop going around. And I wasn't the only one that thought that. Some other creators that I know, they thought that as well. But a few of them you've definitely watched for sure. So can it retain its title as the best thin and light premium gaming laptop? Now there are so many different SKUs of this. The model I have has an Intel 10th generation i7-10750H processor. So that's an 8-core i7 processor. You can also get the i7-10750H and the i9-10980HK, which is unlocked. Now the interesting part about this CPU is it is an i7 and has 8 cores, where the entry-level i7-10750H only has 6. Now this is the OLED model, so we do have a 4K OLED display. Now as I said, I have the OLED. If you want the super connected feeling, you can get that, high refresh display, 144 Hz. And it still has good color calibration. It doesn't have the wide color gamut of the OLED. The OLED pop is magical, but yeah, if you're a hardcore gamer, you're going to get the high refresh one. We have 32 gigabytes of DDR4, maximum of 64 gig, and I would say probably even more, maybe with a BIOS update. And also this one is sporting the super duper graphics. Yes, the RTX 2070 Super with Max-Q technology. You can get anything from a 1660 Ti, a 2060, a 2070 Max-Q, a 2070 Super Max-Q, and an RTX 2080 Super with Max-Q as well. Supports Optimus technology, so we should be getting better battery life with that. But the big deal about Optimus technology is with G-Sync, right? You don't have to restart to go back to integrated graphics. If at all, you could actually. A lot of G-Sync laptops, you couldn't even use the integrated graphics. So this should mean better battery life, and it should easily switch from the GPU to the integrated graphics. Like if you're just web surfing in that, why should you have the GPU lit up? Of course, it has Thunderbolt 3, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5, plus LE, 230 watt power supply, and all coming in at 2 kilos or 4.4 pounds, 20 mil thick. So this thing on paper is a beast, but does it perform like a beast? Well, the TLDR of this is, yes, it does. This one's going to be hard to beat in this segment, the thin and light 15-inch premium laptops. Now it does have a package limit of 62 watts on the CPU. So after boosts are over, that CPU is limited to 62 watts. Also, once you hit 90 degrees on the CPU, it will throttle. That's baked in. And when you have it in gaming mode, or actually max fans, you won't really hit that 90 degrees very often. Depends on the game you're playing, CPU usage, etc. But on the most part, it does keep that 62 watts going even with the GPU lit up 100%, as you'll see later. And it occasionally will go into the 90 degrees, again, depending. And yes, the CPU will back off there a little bit, but it recovers really fast. Now this is completely stock, not undervolted. I can't undervolt it. I can't get an undervolt to stick at the moment with the tools I use. Maybe in the future you can. But if this had an undervolt, yeah, it'll do that 62 watt all day, all night. And yes, it performs like a beast. If we're talking about how much faster is this RTX 2070 Super over the previous RTX 2070 in this Aero 15, or just generally, yeah, it's around that 10% mark faster for gaming. Basically, it's around the same speed as the old RTX 2080s. Max-Q, there were lots of leaks about this, but yeah, it turns out that's sort of roughly around the mark. Of course, it depends on what games you play, how many games you play, and some games it wasn't that much better, some games it was quite significantly better. But certainly if you have the last generation Aero, I mean, yeah, really, it's not worth an upgrade. But if you have an older laptop, yeah, all right, go for it. So let's go in for a little bit of a deep dive now. As you can see there, it's the i7-10750H. So this is the 8-core i7. Now it's not unlocked, but what you can see here is down the bottom here, we can see 5.1, 1 core active, 5 gigahertz, 2 cores, 4.9, 3 cores, 4.8, 4 cores, 4.7, 5 cores, and 4.6 at 6 cores. And then we go to 4.5 for 7 cores, and then 4.3 gigahertz for all 8 cores at once. Now, it's not going to do 4.3 all 8 cores at once unless maybe you undervolt it. It can do nearly 4 gigahertz all cores. So yeah, that's the CPU. All right, so let's check out the thermals on this Aero beast here. Now, the claim to fame of the 10th generation CPUs is over 5 gigahertz, up to 5.3 gigahertz if you have the i9 and it's overclockable. The unlocked one is the i9. This one is not unlocked. This is the i7, so it is the 8-core i7, so it is the good one in that regard. Now, we're going to test single thread and multi-core, and we'll see what sort of score we get. Not so much the score, I'll show you the score in a sec, but just see how much thermal output this laptop can handle and what sort of clock speeds we're going to get. You cannot undervolt it at the moment. No undervolts are sticking in the Intel XTU. All I've done is raise the power limit to 110 watts, so no undervolt. Hopefully that'll come soon. I can't even make it stick in throttle stop, so that just is what it is. At the moment, we'll have a look at the CPU clock speeds. We're going to do a single threaded sort of test here. Oh, it's actually still going. Now we'll run Cinebench, it's single thread, and as you can see here, we have the CPU up to its max setting here, and also we have the power on high performance, and AI is off. So let's just see what sort of clock speeds we can get. It's supposed to do 5 gigahertz at 100 degrees single core. Now, single core is really hard to get. I'm doing one thread here, just one thread, but it's probably going to bounce around a few cores, and I'll probably, maybe have to set affinity, but we're just going to do it single threaded, single core performance. Let's run it and let's see what sort of speed we get with the frequency. Now, I'm going to turn the fans on max. We've got everything up max now. Oh yeah. The joys of gaming laptops. I love it. Anyway, let's do it. Let's run the single core and see what sort of frequency we're going to get. Okay, so this one's supposed to do 5 gigahertz, and there it went to 4.6, 4.5, and that's all it wants to do. I suspect that's because the threads are bouncing around, so we won't test this for any longer. So now we're going to test multi-core to see how much wattage this package can take and how much, frequency we get at sort of watts. And now, of course, it's not undervolted. Everything's turned up max, as I said before. And we'll just turn the fans on in a sec. We'll just check here that we are indeed pushing 110 watts. Yes, we're getting 110 watt package there. So it'll be very interesting. Let's turn on the fans. Excuse me. Oh, yes. You gotta love it. All right, so let's run the multi-core test and let's see what sort of frequency we're going to get. All right, so if we have a look here, down the bottom, 108 watts. Whoa, wow, 108 watts. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's pushing 107 watts. Maybe I should raise it higher. Is this for real? All right, so frequency is 3.99, so basically 4 gigahertz. So it's going all cores, 4 gigahertz. It's power limit throttling and current limit throttling, and then it just hit thermal throttling there. Now, the thermal throttling is because it's hitting 90 degrees, so there actually is another 10 degrees headroom. So if Gigabyte allowed it to go to 100, we'll probably see a higher clock speed here to that 90, and every time it's hitting 90, it's thermal throttling, as you can see. So this is down the bottom right hand corner is where we're supposedly looking. So still pumping 103 watts. So at the moment, right now, hats off to Gigabyte, okay? They've got another 10 degrees headroom if they really wanted to go there. We were getting 3.9 gigahertz all cores, and we're pumping 100 watts into this. 100 watts. That's more than the MacBook Pro with the CPU and GPU together. Yeah, that is amazing. So hats off to Gigabyte. This is all we're really testing here. We're not testing the score. I'll show you what scores you're going to get. And remember, this isn't undervolted. So what are you looking at now? Now we're looking at LuxMark. Okay, so we're going to hit the GPU 100% and hit the CPU 100%. So maximum load to just test out the total thermal output of this thing. Now, this is limited to 62 watts. As you can see here, when it boosts, it's going to boost up to 80 watts, and then it's going to, actually it does 90 watts, and this is stock. Of course, I can unlock this and let the limits go higher. You see, it done over 105 watts CPU throughout the whole Cinebench run, so it's amazing. So let's see what it is stock though, and with the GPU and CPU being lit up 100%. So this is a totally unrealistic sort of scenario. You're not going to hit the GPU and CPU 100%. That doesn't happen even in gaming. But we have a look here, stock 3200 on Cinebench, come up there, that's stock. That's with the 62 limiting, and that was like, you know, in performance mode and the fan's up full, but this is stock. So this 8-core i7 does it 3200 stock. So now that we're going to hit the GPU and the CPU together, this should reduce. Now the Mac goes to its knees. Like when you light up the GPU on the Mac, the CPU goes, you know, can go below 40 watts. We'll see how many watts this can still push with the GPU lit up 100%. I expect it to go down. This has a much more powerful graphics card than like a MacBook Pro, so it's going to be using quite a lot of power with the graphics. 230 watt, you know, package here, so there should be some power limit throttling, but let's do it. 100% on the GPU and CPU. So run selected. So now let's light up that GPU. So we've lit up the GPU. Now let's light up the CPU. Let's do it. And let's have a look. What's happening? What sort of wattage we're pushing? So we are indeed pushing. Now the GPU's been lit up. 80 watts. 80 watts on the CPU. We're pumping. Why the GPU is lit up 100%, okay? So if we have a look here, yes, we are rendering there. The GPU is lit up 100% and the CPU is 100% as well. All right, so let's go here. We're still pushing 80 watts. That's amazing. Oh, I forgot to put the fan on too. Let's put the fan on now. Maximum power. And we can see here 82 degrees. Why the GPU is lit up 100%. We got 62 watts. It's sitting at its like, that's the baked in 62 watts. So it's still sitting on its maximum wattage. Why the GPU is lit up 100%. And you saw I didn't have the maximum fans on. It was on silent mode and it was still doing that, which is quite amazing. We're not going for scores in the here, but we want to see, can it spit out a score similar to what it is just with CPU only with the GPU 100% lit up. So I'll be very surprised if it gets 3000. It should be a little bit less, but looking at its temperature and that, it doesn't seem to be, yeah, it's a bit of power limit throttling. It seems to be cooler for some reason. I don't know why. 62 watts, it's sitting at that 62 watts, come what may. 3.4 that is, with the GPU lit up 100%, 3.4, that's quite amazing. And let's see, Cinebench, we still going on Cinebench? Where are you? Mr. Cinebench, come up. Come on trackpad, work with me. All right, 3082 with the GPU lit up 100%. And what are we doing here? There you go, there's your GPU score. That's with the CPU lit up 100%. Wow. And I reckon if I had the fans on max, that would have been pretty much 3200. So it's virtually doing like a full score, like 100% with the GPU being lit up 100% as well. So that's amazing performance. So you just know it's going to be great for gaming. So now we'll get into Battlefield. This new 2020 Aero 15 OLED with the RTX 2070 Super Max Q is up to 26% faster than the last Aero 15 with an RTX 2070 Max Q in the same games, and an average of around 16% faster. Woof. That's what I'm talking about. Now, of course, this will depend on how many games you test, how many you're dividing by, the averages and that, but ranging from not much difference up to 26% and 16% average. Now, of course, this is helped out by the CPU as well, because the CPU does have better performance per watt. It's still the king when it comes to single-threaded applications and high clock speeds and games like that. A lot of games only use a few threads, so the Intel is better in this situation. And overall, you can see with this gameplay here, and I've actually filmed it because my capture card was playing up, I could not hit that 90-degree limit. So even in Battlefield 5, it's maintaining that 62 watt limit on that CPU with the GPU being lit up playing Battlefield 5, which is sort of like a high CPU usage. game. So yeah, this is ace for gaming. And although Ryzen laptops may be great for content creation and multi-core stuff, the speed of the single core and gaming of the Intel system, you can't deny. So thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one. Tally ho.